Good morning. I am Laurie Duncan, and this is Did You All Shout Rude Group Podcast? Hope so, baby. Today's topic of conversation is accountants. And we have had a few accountants in our journey so far. Now we are very happy with our accountant, it must be said. It's quite incredible actually the difference we've found in accountants as we've been along our journey, because there are people that know their shit, and there are people that care about you and your business and want to find strategic ways of improving your operation, your efficiency and all that. And there are people that don't give a shit and they just want to crunch the numbers and get paid. They don't have any kind of strategic input to your business, and those people are not who you want in your property business. Your accountants are a very key part of your team, very key, and their understanding of property will make a massive swing in the amount of tax that you could pay, or it could do. We are very lucky in Rude Group because we have Mr. Alex Robertson, and he is a qualified accountant and he knows a lot of specialist stuff around property and taxation. In fact, there's loads of videos from Alex. There's a series called the Property Tax Series on our YouTube channel if you're looking for videos with examples of the numbers and all that, if you're into that kind of stuff. And obviously the tax thing can change over time. Anytime they change the legislation, that stuff can change. But Alex has got the series, check that out if you want to know more information on it. We're lucky because we've got Mr. Alex Robertson and he knows his shit when it comes to accountancy and tax. But we're also lucky because we've got a fantastic accountant in Michael at AD Plus, who has a great team of people, and they are very supportive towards us, our growth, the group generally, IHT planning, tax efficiency, all that type of stuff. But there's so many people that just don't want to pay, and we might pay Michael a bit extra for the service that he provides to us, but it's not a great deal. You look at these other accountants that maybe charge you $1,000 for a set of corporation accounts or something like that, and some of our mates that are involved in property, but they don't want to pay the higher fees. They just want to stick with the cheapest solution. Well, cheapest is not always best, right? And I can tell you that from lots of different experiences along my entrepreneurial journey. But certainly when it comes to accountants, you're definitely worth paying the extra value for someone that knows what they're talking about, someone that can support you. I almost look at it as like a consultancy almost, or a mentorship, working closely with not just the accountants but other members of our team as well. I'm looking to learn from everybody that we are working with, because it just supports the relationship. It's better when you're sitting in a room with people and everybody knows what they're talking about, rather than just the professionals sitting around talking what could be gobbledygook. Man, it's so valuable to have a good accountant that knows their shit and will work with you. We had an example, the very first tax return we were going to submit, and Eck talks more about this in his tax series, but it was our first corporation tax due. I think it was for We Buy Property Scotland at the time, and the accountants that we were using at the time had allocated all of the cost of refurbishments to capital expense, and because they weren't allocated as revenue expenses like they should have, we were going to have this tax bill for like 15 grand or something like that. Because Alex knew his shit and he challenged them on it, and he said, what about this, what about this, we ended up changing that before submission legally, because they had misunderstood the computation, the way that the tax would be calculated. And for me, I'm not an accountant, right? I'm looking at that like, fucking hell, what am I paying you for? Like, I'm paying you to like minimise my tax position. I'm not paying you to like just figure out how much tax you think I should pay, and then sign it off, and then away we go. And the funny thing is that if it had just been me, and I didn't have my business partner, Mr. Alex Robertson, I could have quite easily turned around to them and be like, oh, okay, 15 grand tax bill, we'll just pay it. And only because of Alex's knowledge and experience and input in that situation were we able to change that. And then this 15 grand tax bill ended up being £1,000, something like that. In fact, it was maybe zero, I can't even remember. And that's a legal thing, you know, but you need to understand the technicalities to a degree, not to any lengthy degree, but to a degree. You need to have this level of financial literacy, accounting principle literacy. I don't know and understand things the way like Alex does, but I do have a basic understanding, one that's good enough, and it's constantly developing, I might add. It's good enough to challenge things when numbers are reported and you know, we might disagree with them. But some of you out there are maybe paying your accountants the grand rather than £2,000, and hey, you're maybe paying these 10, 15, 20 grand tax bills on your small portfolios when maybe if you were more strategic about it and you had the right kind of counsel, the right support, you might not be paying any. Big deal, big deal. So, hope you've taken that on board, hope that's been useful for you. Subscribe to our channel, baby, our YouTube podcast channel. And in fact, all these podcasts should be going out on, like, I don't know, the other podcast channels like Spotify and the Apple podcast thing and all of that. So maybe you're listening to this stuff from one of these channels. Awesome. I hope it's helped you, because we like to help people out, alright? But make sure you subscribe and you will learn more. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I cannot wait to catch up with you again soon. Cheers.